Welcome back, all you sexy YouTube nail mother lovers. Cadence here. I'm back. I'm at hospital. All is good. We'll talk about it. And today we're going to continue the creepy spider story that I had to cut short during my last episode. So today I am going to include the bling spider from the last episode. If you didn't see that, I'll put a kajiga somewhere on the screen so you can click it. I think that's how it works. You know me and technology if you've been around for a while. Otherwise, we are going to do spider webs with probably the worst gold metallic paint ever. And we'll talk about that too. So, without further ado, spooky dudes, let's get started. So this is the bling spider we did in the last episode, or the last video, whatever you want to call it, where we used the long square tips. We used the chrome, the liquid chrome, and the gummy gel from Max Estrada to make this spider. So what we're going to do today is construct a spider's web, because that's where spiders live, and we're going to make it a full set. What I wanted to show you that is upside down, but it doesn't really matter because it's just showing you bling and things. This is the little kit. Is that what you call it? Kit? Bling box thing that I got the bling from for the spider's legs. I don't know, one of those weird AliExpress or Amazon purchases or something like that. Just comes in a little thing and there's a whole bunch of gold diddly bop doohickey my whatsits in there. And that is the technical nail nerd name for stuff. Tilly Watsits. Okay, so as always, we are not going to commit any nail crimes today. We are going to start with priming the tips, and we are going to start with a base coat so that all the stuff we put on top of it actually sticks. If you're doing it on your real nails, you want a base coat so that your gel polish, 1, applies smoother, and 2, lasts longer. So using Perfect White, we are going to do 2 coats using Madame Glam products today, except for the liquid chrome. I have no idea what the liquid chrome is. It just has BJ09 written on it. So hunt for that on Amazon because it's just been sitting at the back of my drawer for a little while. And there we go. All right, so let's talk about this metallic painting gold gel by Yichun Nails. This stuff is the devil. 1, look at it. It's all over me already. When I opened it, it was separated. It does have this really cool drag-off shelf, as you can see there, but never ever stick a detail brush inside a pot like that. You will break the brush. So always give it a mix and decant it out, and then you can make... You can apply the product to your brush once you have decanted it out of the pot and onto your palette, because you do not want to break a $30 brush every time you stick it into a pot, because it's expensive and it will make you get furious. Or if that's just me, let me know down in the comments. Okay, so I'm going to start off with like the peripheral nails first, and then we'll get into the spider's web. But I want to pick back up with the spider story. So, as we left the last episode, I was maybe 17 or 18. I was driving to work in my little MGB that my dad had built for me or reconstructed for me, brought back to life for me, for when I got my license. So for that, my poor father is forever cursed with introducing me to the love of MGs, and it truly is a love and a passion that you cannot explain nor rationalize, because you know the damn thing is going to overheat halfway up that hill, but you're damn well going to keep it sitting in your garage forever and ever and ever because you love it to absolute pieces. It's irrational, but it's just the way it is, and that's all your fault, Dad, if you ever listen to this. Anyways, so I'm driving in that car, and for those of you who are unfamiliar with an MGB, it's a car from way back when, and it's an English car and it's a soft top. Fuck me, that's a painful description. How about I use the wonders of this visual media and insert a picture? So, inserting a picture here, this is what, or very similar to what my MGB looked like. It was a 1972 four-cylinder. It just was the best thing in the world for a 17, 18, 19, 20-ish year old girl to drive around. Anyway, I was driving this car in the pissing rain, and when I say pissing rain, I mean like horse pissing rain. It was so bad. The storm was one of those once in a decade kind of fucking things. Anyways, as I'm driving to work, I notice this, what I thought was like a little string hanging down near the window, and because it's being a soft top, it's stitched, like the leather is stitched, so I thought, it's just a little strand of cotton or something hanging down, or what was a fucking big strand of cotton. But anyways, I digress. It was at the corner of my eye and it was just dangling down, and I looked and I'm like, oh, okay, that's a bit weird. And then I hit a puddle and a sheet of water went up over the bonnet, over the roof, and down the back of the car. And also, for those of you familiar with historical vehicles, they're not that watertight. So I've got water dripping on my feet. I've got water dripping through the windows. I've got water dripping through the seal at the top of the windscreen. Not ideal, but we soldier on. It's just part of the charm, they say. Anyways, so this sheeting water goes over the top, and this leg comes down, and I can clearly now identify it as a leg, a single leg. And I'm like, literally screaming at the thing, literally screaming at it to go back up and leave me alone, because I realize it's on the outside of the car, not the inside of the car. Don't panic at me just yet. So I keep driving to work, like one eye on the road. Well, not really, let's be honest. Two eyes on this thing, fucking screaming and swerving and carrying on. But the best is yet to come. I hit another puddle, and I go to turn down one of the main streets in the place where I lived, and it's a very busy time of day, on your way to work, blah, blah, blah. So another sheet rolls up over the bonnet, up over the windscreen, over the roof, and this thing drops down on the outside of the car, and it is the size of the fucking window. I shit you not. It was not a huntsman like was in the previous video, the ones that live inside your house. This thing was mutant tree rainforest climbing fucking spider that had been mutated over generations and eons and was around when the dinosaurs was there attacking T-Rexes. That's how big this fucking thing was. And the way it fell against the window, oh, it's making me sick just thinking of it. The way it fell against the window, you could see all its underbelly and all the twists and turns and curves and ins and outs of its. Oh, God, it was just awful. But the thing I noticed about it was that it was kind of like colourful, like it had the rainbow oil slick sheen. It had that to it. Brilliantly interesting, but still fucking in the moment terrifying. And anyway, so as I'm driving along, hitting puddles, pissing rain, can't see a thing, screaming, water dripping on my feet. I don't want my feet down in the footwell because my car is now possessed and full of spiders. So I'm driving a manual car, mind you, with my feet on the driver's seat, screaming at this thing to go away or get off or not come inside. And as it started climbing back up the window, trying to get back on the roof and hold on to something for safety, it started to stick one leg over the top of the glass of the window, like the actual glass, underneath, in between the glass and the soft top. It was just sticking one leg as it was as it was climbing back up the window to get onto the roof. So I'm grabbing whatever I can put to hand, and in the car at the time that I was driving all around work in Brisbane and blah, 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 it was full of shoes and makeup and clothes and food and all sorts of crap. So anything that I could get my hand on, I'm throwing at it, hoping like hell I don't smash my window, but also hoping like hell that I deter this thing from getting in the car. So I've thrown everything that I can at it, and I've managed to deter it this time from coming inside the car. Alas, I hit another puddle and it drops back down the window even further. So it drops almost onto the door. So it had half its legs on the door, half its legs on the window. And again, I could see the twisted underbelly of it, the long, hairy, dangly, thick legs, and that oil slick colour to its underbelly. Horrific looking thing. As it came up the window this time, it started to stick one leg in again. And I was like, okay, the throwing and screaming and swerving thing worked last time. Let's do the same thing. That's all I could think of. Let's do the same thing. So anything I could grab that came to hand, I was throwing at the window, and I was screaming at this thing to get out. I don't want you to come inside. However, it was more bold than I was. It stuck one leg through. It stuck two legs through. It stuck three legs through. And I, at this stage, am swerving over 3 lanes of traffic. I am screaming. I cannot see out the front of my window. The inside of the car is as wet as the outside of the car, and it's getting steamed up, and I do not know what to do. So I pull, like I could jackknife myself to the side of the road, nearly hitting one of those like side islands on the side of the road, and I jump out of the car into the rain. And it's a manual car, so it drives a little way down the road and then stalls because it's got no human behind the car to push the clutch in when it slows down, right? So it stalls itself. And then this fucking spider just rolls in between the window and the roof, and it settles itself in the very middle of the roof, underneath the roof. Like it was in the middle, just going, fuck you, Cadence, this is my car now. And it spread, and I shit you not, if it had have tried to touch the corners of the roof, it damn well nearly would have been able to. This fucking thing was massive. I've never ever seen anything like it again. This is a once in a lifetime monster, this thing. And so here I am. I'm on my way to work. I've just jumped out of a moving vehicle. I'm standing in the pissing rain, and remember, it's horse pissing rain, not just normal rain. I'm in my work clothes. I've got no shoes on. My bag is inside my car. This was in the era when mobile phones were only just starting to be a thing, and I did have one. because safety and being a girl and all that kind of shit. But where was it? The fucking phone is in the car with the fucking spider. So the phone is dead to me. The car is dead to me. I may as well flick a match on the fucking thing. But no, what do? I'm standing there looking like a fuckwit in the middle of the rain, in the middle of the busy street, absolutely beside myself, not knowing what to do. So I'm just standing there. I reckon I stood there for a good 5 minutes trying to figure out what to do. I walked over to the car and I looked up, like I looked through the window, and that's where I could see and tell that this fucking thing was right in the middle of the car, of the roof of the car, and I was like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I was only lucky that I was on a busy street. Let's say that. So, busy street. I saw a tradie come out of a side street and he drove off, and I thought, fuck me. You are going to look like the dumbest fuck in the history of the world if you go and ask these people for help. Here is this 18-year-old, long blonde hair, blue-eyed fuckwit standing in the rain with a car that she can't get into. What do I do? So I do. This guy's pulled up to the side of the road. He can't see to get into the traffic, and he's just sitting there waiting for his gap, waiting for his turn. And I go up and knock on the door, and he's looking at me like, oh my fucking God, what is wrong with this thing? I'm like, I'm really sorry to ask, and I'm really embarrassed right now, but there is a spider in my car. Would you mind awfully coming and killing it for me because I'm running late for work? And he's looked at me like, sure, love, no worries. So he's backed his car up from the intersection. Very nice. I appreciate it more than life itself, because I really would not have gotten to work that day if it had been the case. It would have taken me another hour to walk there. So old mate backs up, parks his car, and swans on over like I'm, big tough tradie, nothing worries me in the history of the world. And he's like, oh, where is it, love? I'm like, it went up and it's on the top of the roof. He's like, oh, okay. So he opens the door and sticks his head right in, like, here's this Sheila, what's going down? But he stuck his head right in the car. And honestly, I have never seen a grown man jump back as quick and as far as what he did, but I reckon he would have jumped back 3 feet. And he's turned around and looked at me with like dinner plate eyes and gone, holy shit, that thing is huge. And I'm like, right, vindication. Thank you very much. Vindicated. And so he's like, oh, do you have anything to kill it with? And I'm like, oh, well, there's shoes in the car, I guess, and other stuff in there. And so he's like, oh, okay. And he's gone back to the door and held it open again, and he's grabbed one of the shoes that I tried to throw at it off the floor of the front passenger seat. And let me tell you, it's not like he walked over with any realm of confidence. He tried to grab that shoe and he was slicked and plastered up to that door like nothing you've ever seen before, reaching around trying to grab a shoe. And then he's done what I would have done, and he's just thrown the shoe up at the roof and then jumped back another 3 feet. And then tentatively crept forward and looked again, and he's like, fuck it, I missed. And because of the disturbance, it moved further back, and there's like a clear section at the back of the soft top, like where the back clear window would be, but because it's plastic, it just instantly goes from clear to cloudy, and there's nothing you can do about it, especially in the Australian climate, right? So he's gone, fuck, and he's gone back. He's grabbed another shoe, and he's tried to see where it's gone, and it's further back in the car, so he had to sort of maneuver himself around like a fucking snake, right up against the door, right up in between the seats, um, in the front, and his like with all his might, because I could see like his feet scratching along the ground, trying to hold himself up, and he's like, bang! And he's nearly thrown the shoe through the roof. It was that hard. But he jumped back again, up to the curb, and he was like, okay. He looked at me wide eyed and he's like, I think that might have been it. And I'm like, can you please check? He's like, yeah, yeah, of course, of course. I think he was just gathering himself back up, not expecting that it was so. So he's gone and stuck his head in, and he's looked and he's like, oh, I'm really sorry. It's a bit messy, but yeah, I got it. And I'm like, I don't give a shit as long as it's dead. We're all good. And old mate's like, okay, no worries, love. And he trotted off back to his car and sort of drove off into literally into the mist. And like you can hear it in my voice, I'm still shell shocked by this completely ridiculous event. But I've looked in my car and you're like, sure enough, the spider is dead. But fuck me, this thing was full of custard. There was this greeny, yellow, nasty fucking gizzard everywhere, like all over the back window and dripping down onto the shit I had in the back. And I was like, I- completely speechless, like completely speechless at what had happened. And I'm like, okay, okay, okay. So I've managed to fish my jacket out from the other side of the footwell where all good jackets should always be. And I've put that across the seat, like the driver's seat where all the goo is. And I've just got back in the car, started it, and drove straight to work. And I walked inside and I was white. Apparently, the people are like, are you okay? What the fuck's going on? And I'm like, just shaking and drenched. Like, I was drenched to the core. I remember working that whole shift just being drenched and cold. And you know how you're that cold and wet, your fingers go all pruny and all wrinkly and gross. Yep, I was like that all day. And I remember years ago, like this was a fucking long time ago now, and I remember telling my dad about it, and he was dying. He was dying of laughter. And, so he should. I guess dads get their own back when their daughters take their cars off into the world and have to deal with spiders and things like that. So, my advice to you, all my lovely nail mother lovers, is if you're driving in Australia, make sure your convertible MGB has sealed windows. Never park when you go bushwalking or into the forest or anything like that. Never park a car like that in the forest, in the rainforest in Australia, because prehistoric fucking mutant spiders get in and they make it their own. That's all I'm saying. All right. I'm gonna stop. I'm going to stop telling horror stories now. But by all means, if you guys have got horror stories, put them down the bottom. It's Halloween. Why not? Let's all get involved. Um, and I'm going to take a moment and shake off that spider because it's still to this day, I am like that. Still to this day, like I said last episode, I can't sleep inside the house if we can't get the spider outside. I can't be anywhere near where the spider catching is happening because my husband is a lover, not a fighter. So he catches them with his bare fucking hands and puts them outside. He also has his own um, story about a monster spider way up north in when he was on a diving course. Yeah, same sort of thing. Monster spiders in tents. Convertible cars and tents. Watch yourself when you're in Australia, everybody. I have no idea what kind of spider it was either, by the way. Like I said, I can describe it. I've never seen one before. I've never seen one again, but mutant it was. So let's fucking get that off our skins. But yes, if you guys have got your own stories from wherever you come from, whatever your crazy national terrifying animal is, please let us all know down in the comments, because we love to share and care in our now mother lover community that is caused by Cadence. And I would love to hear your horror stories, to see if there's any others that involve spiders or any other creature that are as mentally draining and obviously have lifelong trauma effects. Anyway, holy moly. Well, I've managed to waste nearly 20 minutes of your time on that story. Let's look at what we're doing with Lennaels, hey? So Lennaels today have gotten perfect white. They've gotten some spider webs made out of gold, and that gold, oh my goodness, I fought with that gold paint the entire time. It was claggy. It just it wouldn't let the brush do what it needed to do, even when I cleaned my brush 1,000 times. So if any of you in the good nail mother lover community have got a gold gel paint or a gold, you know, anything that you would recommend me to use instead of this generic crap, please let me know in the comments, and I would be very happy to try it out and take on your suggestions. So what I'm doing at this point in time is applying a top coat to all of the webs. So we've done the perfect white and we've done the webs with that shit stuff. Then I've applied a top coat. I have half cured the top coat. Then I'm going to put the chrome on. I'm going to rub the motherfucking shit out of the chrome, because that's how you do it. And then once you've rubbed the motherfucking shit out of the chrome, you put it back in the lamp and you complete the cure so that the top coat soaks on to the chrome. Then I base coat. I base coat the chrome. Why? Because base coat is very sticky. It will stick to the cured top coat with the chrome on it. It allows you to place any gems that you need to, and it also allows the top coat to stick properly to a chrome nail. So if you're having ever trouble chipping or lifting or odd shadows, or it doesn't quite look as brilliant as you thought, try your base coat as well. So if you guys want to, go over to Instagram and follow me at Caused by Cadence. I haven't been super active because, like I said, I've been in hospital, but now I'm back and this is what we're doing and this is what we've created today. We've only had one overly emotional, dramatic spider story with some chrome, top coat, base coat, top coat, and it's as simple as that, really, isn't it? That's why I went through for you guys and put the little prompts. So even if you're listening to this without my Australian drawl in the background, you know what to do and what steps to do. So hey dilly ho to technology, hey? Anyway, we have got the spider bling nail from last time. We have got just a nice plain thumb nail that you could use with the stripe. Index finger that's clear. I reckon that would look pretty cool. We have got the accent spider web as our middle finger, the accent spider on our ring finger, and then a half web for the pinky, which I reckon would look super, super nice on a full set. Trick is to make sure you cover the numbers with the bling or file the numbers off if they're at the edge of your tip and you are using the tip as a whole. So you don't have the number 1 or 0, whatever size that is, the number 1 at the end of your spider bling nail showing through under the chrome. because it will. So make sure you file off your number if you're using full tip length. Don't do what dumb Cadence does. The more you know. So there's a few more Halloween ones coming. Hopefully they come out before Halloween. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? But leave your comments below. Come see me on Instagram. Tell me all your bits, stories, and I will see you sexy YouTube nail mother lovers in the next video. Bye!